As we grow older, many daily habits become so routine that we stop noticing them. However, one of the most overlooked yet meaningful habits is personal hygiene. While it may seem minor or unimportant as we age, how we care for our appearance continues to send strong messages to the people around us even when we don't realize it. Neglecting hygiene often happens gradually. Clothes might be worn for several days without a wash, hair may go unbrushed, nails grow long and unclean, or a faint body odor may begin to linger. These signs are usually not mentioned out loud by friends or family members, out of politeness or fear of causing embarrassment. But they are noticed, and they change how people interact with us. In our younger years, personal hygiene is usually tied to work, social life, and self-image. We take showers before going out, dress carefully, and maintain our grooming. But as we age, motivation can fade. Energy levels drop, physical limitations appear, and sometimes, a quiet sense of resignation takes hold. Why does it matter anymore? But it does matter. Hygiene is not about vanity or trying to impress others. It's a reflection of self-respect. When we stop caring for ourselves, others may assume we've withdrawn not just from hygiene routines, but from life itself. They may step back emotionally and physically, interpreting neglect as disconnection or a loss of interest in being part of their lives. On the other hand, even the smallest efforts to maintain hygiene can have a surprisingly powerful effect. A clean shirt, a brushed head of hair, trimmed nails, or a fresh scent tells others that you're still present, still engaged, and still care about yourself and about them. Personal hygiene isn't just a private matter, it's a silent form of communication. And in many ways, it's one of the simplest but strongest ways to show that you value yourself and welcome meaningful connection with others. As we grow older, many of us feel we've earned the right to speak our minds freely. After decades of holding back, it might seem refreshing to say exactly what we think without worrying too much about others' feelings. Expressions like, "I'm just being honest," or "I've lived long enough to say what I want," become common. However, while this candor may feel liberating, it can often cause discomfort or even hurt those around us. Without realizing it, unfiltered comments about someone's appearance, life choices, or parenting style can come across as harsh criticism. Although the intention might simply be to share wisdom or a heartfelt opinion, others may experience it as judgment or insensitivity. Often, people won't confront you directly. Instead, they may pull away, limit conversations, or avoid deeper topics to protect themselves from potential hurt. It's important to recognize that honesty and kindness must go hand in hand. Before speaking, a simple pause to ask yourself two questions: is this helpful? Is this kind? Can make all the difference. What feels like speaking the truth might sometimes be an outlet for frustration rather than a contribution to meaningful dialogue. Imagine whether you would be comfortable if someone said the same words to your child or grandchild. If the answer is no, it may be wise to soften the message or withhold it altogether. True wisdom isn't just about sharing what you know, it's about how you choose to share it. When advice or opinions are delivered with empathy, they draw people closer. Younger generations especially are more likely to value and seek out your perspective when they feel respected and understood. By choosing compassion over bluntness, you not only protect your relationships but also reinforce the dignity and grace that come with experience and age. As we age, familiarity often brings comfort. We savor routines, cherish old memories, and sometimes, cling to the clothes that have been faithful companions for years. However, continuing to wear clothes that no longer fit well or are noticeably outdated can unintentionally send a powerful message to those around us, a message that we may no longer care about our appearance or how we engage with the world. Ill-fitting garments, such as sagging pants, tight shirts, worn-out shoes, or styles frozen in decades past, quietly influence how others perceive us. Even if people don't comment openly, they notice. This isn't about chasing modern fashion trends or dressing like someone much younger. It's about showing self-awareness, self-respect, and a continued investment in one's presence. Choosing clothing that fits properly, is clean, and feels intentional signals vitality and dignity. It shows that you still take pride in yourself and remain engaged with life. A crisp, well-fitting sweater, polished shoes, or a fresh pair of trousers can change not only how others see you but how you feel about yourself. The power lies not in expensive brands or flashy trends but in simple, thoughtful updates. Something as small as swapping an old pair of pants for a modern, comfortable style or choosing colors that complement your complexion can revitalize your appearance. When others see this care, it inspires quiet admiration and respect not for the clothing itself, but for the effort and attention behind it. Maintaining a presentable appearance through your clothing is not vanity, it is a quiet affirmation that you are still active, present, and connected to the world around you. It's a way of saying, I still care, and I am still here. Small changes in wardrobe choices can breathe new energy into your life and your relationships, reminding both you and others that you remain a vibrant, valued presence. With age comes the gift of rich experiences and countless life lessons. Naturally, there's an eagerness to share this wisdom with others, to offer advice, and to tell stories that capture the highs and lows of a long journey. However, without realizing it, older adults can sometimes dominate conversations, interrupting others or steering discussions solely toward their own perspectives. This habit, though often rooted in good intentions, can make others feel overlooked or unheard. People, especially younger generations, may withdraw quietly rather than confront the issue. They might reach out less often, keep conversations superficial, or hesitate to share their thoughts openly. It's not about disrespect, they simply crave a dialogue that feels balanced and mutual. When conversations become one-sided, it creates distance instead of connection. No one likes feeling talked at rather than talked with. To bridge this gap, a small but powerful shift is needed, listening more than speaking. By asking open-ended questions and allowing others to express themselves without interruption, you create a space where everyone feels valued and respected. Leaving room for silence, resisting the urge to jump in with your own story or advice, and showing genuine curiosity about others' experiences fosters deeper, more meaningful relationships. It sends the message that their thoughts matter just as much as yours. Ironically, the less you dominate conversations, the more others will seek out your wisdom. People, especially younger family members, will be drawn to someone who listens thoughtfully and speaks with intention. True connection doesn't come from sharing every lesson you've learned, it comes from balancing your experiences with genuine openness to others' voices. By cultivating the art of listening, you transform everyday conversations into powerful moments of trust, understanding, and respect. In doing so, you not only strengthen relationships but also leave a lasting impression as someone who truly knows how to connect across generations. It's easy to notice the differences between generations. You might see a teenager glued to their phone or a young adult making decisions that seem impractical or unfamiliar. These observations can quickly turn into frequent complaints, comments like, "Kids these days have no respect," or "They don't know how hard life really is." While such remarks may feel harmless or even justified, they can unintentionally build emotional walls between generations. Constantly criticizing younger people sends the message that you're not interested in understanding their world. It implies a belief that the past was better, and today's youth are somehow lacking. But this habit doesn't just reflect your views, it affects how others relate to you. Young people may start avoiding deep conversations, feeling judged or dismissed before they've even spoken. What starts as casual criticism can slowly turn into isolation. It's important to remember that every generation has been misunderstood by the one before it. Instead of focusing on what today's youth are doing wrong, try shifting toward genuine curiosity. Ask questions like, "What's it like to grow up with today's challenges?" Or, "What do you care about most right now?" These questions don't just open doors, they build bridges. By showing interest rather than judgment, you create space for real dialogue. Young people are far more likely to seek your guidance and enjoy your company when they feel respected. Your experiences are incredibly valuable, but how you share them determines whether others will want to listen. Being open-minded doesn't mean abandoning your values, it means recognizing that times change, and each generation navigates its own unique path. When you listen without judgment, you become a mentor, not a critic. That shift can deepen relationships and leave a lasting, positive legacy built on mutual respect. As we age, it's only natural for health issues to become a larger part of our daily lives. Doctor appointments, medications, and physical discomforts often feel central to our routines. It makes sense to want to talk about them, especially with people we trust. However, when conversations are repeatedly centered around medical problems, it can create an unintended emotional burden for others, especially younger family members and friends. You may not notice it at first, but constantly discussing ailments can change the tone of your relationships. Instead of uplifting and energizing interactions, others may begin to feel as though they are always offering sympathy or support. Over time, they might quietly distance themselves, not because they don't care, but because they feel emotionally drained or unsure of how to respond. This doesn't mean you have to hide your struggles or pretend everything is fine. Health challenges are real and deserving of empathy. The key lies in finding the right balance. Choose the right moments and the right people to share with, and avoid letting medical issues dominate every interaction. Try to broaden your conversations. Ask others about what's going on in their lives. Share lighthearted stories, interesting news, or something that made you laugh recently. Talk about a book you enjoyed, a memory that brought you joy, or something you're looking forward to. These topics bring warmth and variety to your relationships. By diversifying your conversations, you show others that you're more than your medical condition, you're still curious, engaged, and emotionally available. This makes people feel more connected to you, and in turn, more likely to offer genuine support when you do need to talk about your health. In the end, maintaining vibrant relationships means creating space for mutual exchange. When you balance vulnerability with interest in others, you strengthen bonds rooted not in obligation, but in shared moments of joy and presence. As we get older, it's natural to feel confident in our beliefs. After all, they've been shaped by years of experience, lessons learned, and values we've carried through life. However, holding on too tightly to outdated views, especially when the world around us continues to change, can quietly create distance between ourselves and others. You might find yourself insisting that things were better back then, or dismissing new ideas without truly listening. While this might feel like staying true to your values, it can come across as rigid or unwilling to grow. People, especially younger ones, may feel like their opinions don't matter, that their world is being judged rather than understood. This mindset can limit meaningful connection. When others sense you're not open to hearing different perspectives, they may stop sharing. Over time, this can lead to loneliness, misunderstandings, and even damaged relationships, not because people don't care about you, but because they feel their voices are not welcome in your presence. Letting go of outdated beliefs doesn't mean abandoning who you are. It means staying open-minded, curious, and willing to learn. Ask questions instead of making declarations. Be willing to say, "Tell me more about that," or "I never thought of it that way." These simple phrases invite dialogue rather than shutting it down. When you show a willingness to grow even just a little, others feel respected and heard. It also reminds them that wisdom isn't about always being right, it's about staying engaged, adaptable, and humble. These qualities don't weaken your authority, they strengthen it. Remaining flexible in your thinking allows you to bridge the gap between generations, ideas, and cultures. It keeps your mind sharp and your relationships strong. In a rapidly changing world, the ability to evolve with grace is one of the most powerful forms of wisdom you can offer. As we age, changes in physical mobility and mental sharpness are a natural part of life. We may slow down, our reaction times may decrease, and our awareness of our surroundings can fade. While these changes are understandable, they can also impact the people around us in subtle but important ways, especially in shared public spaces. Imagine stopping suddenly in the middle of a busy grocery aisle, pausing without realizing you're blocking the path, or drifting into another person's way while walking. These moments may seem small, even harmless, but they can create frustration for others navigating the same space. Most people won't say anything, they'll simply step aside with a sigh or quietly avoid interaction. But over time, these repeated disruptions can lead to social discomfort or even isolation. The key to maintaining dignity and harmony in public settings lies in developing spatial mindfulness. This means being aware of your physical position in a space and how your actions affect those around you. It involves simple habits: walking on one side of the sidewalk, stepping aside in crowded areas, or taking a brief look around before stopping. These small acts of courtesy make a big difference, not just in how others respond to you, but in how included and respected you continue to feel in social environments. Being mindful of your surroundings also communicates something deeper. It shows that you're still present, considerate, and tuned in to the world. Rather than becoming someone people avoid, you become someone they admire for your thoughtfulness and grace. Aging may naturally slow your pace, but it doesn't have to slow your connection to the world. By moving with intention and awareness, you signal that you value not just your own space, but the shared space we all occupy. This level of consideration fosters mutual respect and allows you to continue participating in community life with confidence and ease. Ultimately, spatial awareness isn't just about avoiding inconvenience, it's about preserving your social presence with quiet dignity. Humor is a powerful way to connect with others. It breaks the ice, lifts moods, and often reflects our personality and values. For many older adults, a familiar joke or sarcastic comment may feel lighthearted and harmless, something that's always gotten a laugh. But what was once considered funny can sometimes come across differently in today's more sensitive and socially aware world. Jokes that rely on stereotypes, outdated gender roles, or mocking others, no matter how casually delivered, may unintentionally offend or alienate people, especially younger generations. While the intent may not be harmful, the impact can still be uncomfortable. A forced smile, an awkward silence, or a quick change of subject are subtle signs that a joke didn't land well. Over time, these moments add up. People may become hesitant to engage in conversation or invite deeper connection, fearing that humor will cross a line. This doesn't mean you have to lose your sense of humor or become overly cautious, it just means adjusting your approach to reflect the values of those around you. Think of it as evolving, not censoring. Ask yourself before sharing a joke, does this build connection? Could it be hurtful to someone in the room? Would I laugh if the roles were reversed? Instead of relying on sarcasm or teasing, consider using self-deprecating humor, witty observations about everyday life, or light-hearted stories that highlight human quirks. These types of jokes tend to bring people together without making anyone feel uncomfortable or excluded. Updating your sense of humor doesn't mean you're losing who you are, it means you're growing, adapting, and staying connected. It shows emotional intelligence, respect, and a desire to relate to people across all generations. In a world that is constantly changing, humor that is inclusive, thoughtful, and kind remains timeless. When people know they can laugh with you, not at anyone else, they'll keep coming back for the joy you bring into every interaction. As we get older, facing new challenges, whether with technology, physical strength, or daily tasks, is a natural part of life. It's perfectly normal to need assistance from time to time. However, there's a subtle but important difference between asking for help when it's truly needed and habitually acting helpless, even when we are still capable. Phrases like, "I can't figure this out, can you just do it for me?" or "I don't know how any of this works," may seem harmless, but over time, constantly relying on others for small, manageable tasks can place an unnecessary burden on family and friends. Loved ones may begin to feel more like caregivers than companions, leading to frustration, resentment, or emotional fatigue. Often, acting helpless isn't about laziness, it's rooted in fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of feeling foolish, or fear of facing a world that's evolving faster than we'd like. While these feelings are completely understandable, allowing them to dictate behavior can quietly erode personal autonomy and dignity. The antidote lies in embracing effort over perfection. Trying, even when it's difficult, sends a powerful message. Resilience, independence, and pride are still alive within you. Whether it's learning a new app, carrying a light bag, or tackling a small repair at home, taking initiative builds self-confidence and shows those around you that you're actively engaged in your own life. When real help is needed, it's important to ask clearly and with gratitude, recognizing the time and energy others give. This maintains a healthy balance in relationships, where support is appreciated, not assumed. Demonstrating persistence even through trial and error earns respect far more than passive dependence. It strengthens relationships because it reassures loved ones that you value your own abilities and respect their boundaries. In the end, maintaining your sense of agency isn't about proving you can do everything alone. It's about showing that you're willing to meet life's challenges with courage, adaptability, and a spirit of partnership, not surrender. With decades of experience behind you, it's natural to feel confident in your knowledge and opinions. You've lived through countless challenges, made important decisions, and learned lessons the hard way. However, when the need to always be right overshadows the need for meaningful connection, it can quietly damage relationships. Correcting others mid-story, dismissing different viewpoints with, "Trust me, I've seen it all," or insisting that your way is the only valid way, can make those around you feel undervalued and unheard. Over time, family and friends may retreat into surface-level conversations, avoiding deeper discussions to protect themselves from judgment or conflict. The unintended consequence is isolation, not because people no longer care, but because open, enriching exchanges feel impossible. The vibrant back and forth that builds trust is replaced by guarded, careful interaction, weakening the bonds that matter most. True wisdom isn't about having the last word. It's about knowing when to listen, when to share, and when to let others find their own paths. Offering your experience as a contribution rather than a correction invites dialogue rather than shutting it down. Instead of stating opinions as absolute truths, consider framing them with openness, "In my experience," or "Here's something that worked for me, but I'd love to hear your thoughts." These small shifts in language can make a world of difference, signaling that you respect and value other perspectives even as you share your own. Humility doesn't diminish your insights, it enhances them. People are far more likely to seek your advice when they feel safe, respected, and heard. By choosing curiosity over certainty, you transform conversations into opportunities for learning and connection on both sides. In the end, being remembered for wisdom and kindness is far richer than being remembered for always needing to be right. It's through openness, not authority, that we leave a legacy of lasting influence and love. As we reach later stages of life, it's easy to overlook how small habits can quietly influence the way others perceive and interact with us. Over time, seemingly minor behaviors like neglecting personal hygiene, speaking without a filter, clinging to outdated beliefs, or dominating conversations can build walls between ourselves and those we care about. Without realizing it, these habits can create distance, leaving us feeling misunderstood, isolated, or even unappreciated. Yet the beauty of self-awareness is that it offers us the power to change. Growth doesn't have an expiration date. Regardless of age, we can always choose to refine our actions, deepen our connections, and move through the world with more kindness, curiosity, and grace. The first step is simple but profound: honest reflection. Which of these habits resonated with you? Where might small adjustments bring more warmth, respect, and closeness into your relationships? Change doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes, it's as small as pausing before offering advice, listening a little longer, updating a wardrobe choice, or approaching conversations with more openness. Each small act of self-improvement signals vitality, self-respect, and a commitment to meaningful connection. By showing others that we are still growing, still listening, and still caring, we invite them to meet us with the same energy. Ultimately, aging with dignity isn't about clinging to the past, it's about continuing to evolve with grace. It's about holding on to the wisdom we've earned while letting go of behaviors that no longer serve us or those around us. As you reflect on these insights, consider choosing one small change to put into practice. A new habit. A new way of connecting. A new path toward becoming the kind of presence others are drawn to, not out of obligation, but out of genuine affection and respect. Your journey of growth is far from over. In fact, in many ways, it's just beginning.